Afternoon to all the students. Uh, till our previous session, we have discussed on all the topics which is there for GST. We have discussed completely everything. All the topics what we have required to discuss has been discussed. Sorry. Okay. अभी ठीक है? Fine. So we were discussing on various topics starting from basics of GST till returns, and in the previous session we have discussed also on the returns. So all the topics has been covered, and as I could see from your feedback that you have understood most of the topics. And there was apprehension, sir, is this a theoretical problem or a practical problem or a practical paper? So definitely this is a practical paper. So you will have a lot of practical questions being asked. That is, you have to solve the problem. So our objective today is that to understand how do we solve the problem, because what kind of problem will come, that we don't know, but we know the syllabus, that it will be from our syllabus itself. So we know that it will be from our syllabus. So since we know individual chapters, now it is only application of this which has to be dealt with. So we will only deal how do you do the application of this. That is what is our discussion for today. So any questions? So this is more like a question and answer session wherein if you have any questions on certain topics, you can definitely ask. And during the course of solving the problem also, if there's any reference to the question, we could definitely take that up and discuss it. For 24-25, so what is the due date for rectification? It is 30th November or 31st December, whichever is earlier. Okay, that is 30th November or due date of filing annual return or the actual filing of the annual return, whichever is earlier. Tambeshwari, you could not attend previous class. We were discussing on the returns. So you could please have a look at the video and you will definitely understand it because we have discussed it in detail. QRMP, cumulative sale value. See, in QRMP scheme, as we know, it is a quarterly return, monthly payment. So you have to file whatever sales you have, right? The overall remit is 5 crores. But in the IFF, what you have to file, that you do not have a facility of filing GSTR1 in the monthly basis, you will file it on a quarterly basis. But to give the benefit to the recipient that he can claim a credit, you will file the IFF. The IFF limit is 50 lakh rupees. In the IFF, you can give credit or you can report the sales which is made to another registered person up to 50 lakh rupees. So your IFF limit is 50 lakh rupees. Annual return form for composition dealer is GSTR 9A. You want to know the year. Acha, for 24-25, it is 2025 itself because 24-25 का 24 नहीं हो सकता है ना. It has to be after the end of the financial year. So it is 2025 itself. Very good. So Nitin also, nice that आपने recording देखी है. हाँ, schedule में नहीं था लेकिन I don't know बहुत सारे लोगों ने बोला है, but ठीक है. Okay. And in the problem solving session today, what we will do is we have already discussed on input tax credit. So we will not repeat the problems on input tax credit unless you have any specific doubt. I have a set of questions. We will take up the question and see how do we solve the answers. Okay. Are you all set and ready to solve the problems? Are you prepared for the problem solving session? Okay. That's nice. So if you're ready, let's start this. Okay. Before we go, there's one last question. The QRMP scheme, quarterly return monthly payment. If I cannot pay monthly payment, then what to do? What do you mean you cannot pay? Okay. When the government says that you have to pay it monthly, you have to pay it monthly. There's no option given to you. Sure, Nitin. If you can have the question of January 2025, share it. We could review it at the end if you have some time. Correct. And Hardik is saying that if you don't have time, you do not have the money to make the payment, don't pay it, but interest will be levied. So if you do not pay it, then interest will be levied under Section 50. I will share the question and I will expect that you will work out the problem and give me the answers. And then we'll see how whether your answer is correct or not. Question number one is ITC related. Question number one, we have already solved. Question number two is being solved. So people who have missed the ITC class, go back to the video recording. You'll find that question one to four, we have already solved. We'll go to question number five directly. Question number five is in relation to a outward supply provided by a residential welfare association. Arihant Residence Welfare Association is registered under GST, has 45 members each, paying monthly maintenance of rupees 8,000. The association purchased a pump set for rupees 60,000, which is exclusive of GST, and availed property management services for rupees 59,000, which is inclusive of GST, for use for its members for the month of January 2021. Calculate the GST payable for January 2021 by the association. All transactions are interstate and there is no opening balance of ITC and all the conditions of ITC are fulfilled. Yeah, you could do the calculation and let me know the answer. Hope you're all working out. That's why there is silence. I've got one answer from Hardik. Hardik, your numbers look very, very high. Kindly recheck. I have a doubt if your numbers are correct. Sai Kiran has given, I think, a correct answer. Bhaskar Das has given a correct answer. Kambeshwari, no, your answer is also wrong. This is a simple, very simple question. Vaikunta, yes, your answer is correct. You have to be fast and be smart also, because if you just fast and give the answer, but if it results in the wrong answer, then you don't have time to recheck it. So we were discussing on time management as well, right? So time management is very critical. You have to manage your time as well as be accurate in your answer. Your answer can't be too far away from the facts. And application of exemptions also. There is an exemption also over here that is to be considered. Chalo. I will share my screen and we'll work out this sum together. So as usual, on the left side, you'll have the question and on the right side, you'll find the answer. हाँ, किरण मिश्रा, थोड़ा डाउट है आप पे तो आंसर में. So we'll see. First is always when you solve the answer, mention the question number correctly. Okay. In your answer papers, you have to mention the question number correctly, not in the same order what is given in the question. ऐसा नहीं कि chronological order में ही जाना है. आपको जो question comfortable है, you can answer that first. Okay. Very important. Don't have to follow the pattern what is given in the question paper itself. You can pick up the answer which you find it is better. At least एक question के दो parts है तो at least वो साथ में कीजिए. But अगर आपको fourth question first पता है तो fourth question का answer first लिखिए. Mention the question number 4 and then write the answer. It is advisable to mention the company name. Suppose कुछ company नाम देते हैं. So at least question solver जो examiner है, he should have some connect with your question and the answer. So I would generally suggest that you mention the name of the company. तो इस केस में Arihant Residents Welfare Association, I will at least write that. And then what am I doing? मेरे को क्या objective है? I have to find out what is it required? Compute the GST payable. So computation of GST payable for January 2021. This is what I will write. Then your tables. Tables becomes important because your presentation is important. If your presentation is neat, then the examiner will not get irritated. So for you, it is one paper, but for the examiner, it is so many papers to correct, right? और हर एक किसी का handwriting अलग है कि वो और we will try to write fast. So try to present your presentation in a neat manner. Keep your handwriting neat as far as possible ताकि examiner को interest आए उसको correct करने में. Of course, how you write is not important. What you write is important, but if you write neatly, then the examiner will be satisfied and he'll have a pleasant moment. If he has pleasant moment, his state of mind will be relaxed and he will give you a proper marks also. Right? So these small things are very important. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ अच्छे handwriting वाले ही पास होंगे. जिनकी handwriting अच्छी नहीं है वो भी पास होंगे because it is here to check the knowledge. But still, if you do it in a better way, your presentation definitely matters. Okay. So in your tables, we don't know there is no kind of fixed formula कि हर एक क्वेश्चन के लिए एक पर्टिकुलर और दो कॉलम्स नंबर अमाउंट के रहने चाहिए ये जरूरी नहीं है right so there could be various multiple columns which you may add so give spaces don't congest your page to fill in everything Mention the particulars, mention the amount, then mention the tax amount generally. Based on each question, you can alter it. Okay. So first is, what is the maintenance charges received? The maintenance charges received is 8,000 into 45 members, which is 3,60,000 rupees. Okay. On that, CGST and SGST is 64,800. Less input tax credit. What is the input tax credit? We have pump set. Pump set कितना है? 60,000 rupees. 60,000 के ऊपर 18%, because that is excluding of GST. So I can claim the credit of that. Then on property management services, it is 59,000 inclusive of GST of rupees 9,000. They have given in the question what is the GST on input tax credit. It is 9,000. So net GST payable is 45,000 rupees, which is 64,800 minus input tax credit will be my input tax GST payable, which is 25,000, 22,500 CGST, 22,500 SGST.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, in the question they have written that monthly maintenance of 8,000.
Correct.
So, sir, 8,000 into 12 into 45.
The question asks you to compute the GST payable for January 2021.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So it's only for 1 month.
Okay, sir. I thought, sir, it is for whole year. That's why. Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
So you have to read the question whether they've asked GST payable for 21-22 or for the month. Okay. So 45,000 rupees will be the net GST payable after the input tax credit.
Sir,
Yes, Komal.
good afternoon, sir. सर एक्चुअली इसमें 64,800 आपने कैसे कैलकुलेट किया सर? क्योंकि रेट ऑफ परसेंटेज आई डिड नॉट सी एनीवेयर इन द क्वेश्चन. रेट ऑफ
Sorry,
टैक्स,
madam.
रेट ऑफ टैक्स मुझे कहीं पर भी क्वेश्चन में नहीं दिख रहा है ना सर. तो रेट ऑफ टैक्स आपने कैसे परसेंटेज लिया सर?
See, हमको general rate we should remember, not the specific rate. So general rate for services is 18%. Okay, there are multiple rates: 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. So we have to, when the rate is not given, we should apply the general rate, which is 18%.
फिर भी मेरे को नहीं आ रहा है ना सर. 64,944 ऐसे कुछ आ रहा है.
Why? 8,500 into 45 is 3,60,000 rupees. और 3,60,000 के ऊपर 18% will become 64,800.
गॉट इट सर, गॉट इट.
And you have to write few notes. Okay, very important is that first, whether exemption, the exemption limit of 7,500, correct? For association, when they collect more than 7,500, they have to charge GST. But here they have collected 8,000 rupees. So should we calculate 8,000 minus 7,500? We should not, because if it is more than 7,500, then GST is not payable on the differential, it is payable on the whole collected value itself. So the exemption of limit of 7,500 is not applicable since the collections are more than rupees 7,500. That is your first note. Second note, which is very important, is it is assumed that the collection is not inclusive of taxes. To be more specific, it is assumed that the collection of rupees 8,000 is not inclusive of taxes. क्यों? Because when I collect from the members, they are paying monthly maintenance of 8,000 rupees. They can say that 8,000 is inclusive of taxes itself. In this question, on the input, they have given clarity on whether it is inclusive of GST or exclusive of GST, but on my outward, they have not given any clarity, right? So I will assume that 8,000 is the value of service. On that, I will charge the GST. If you assume that no 8,000 is inclusive of GST, then your calculation will change. Okay, this is a safer assumption to take because GST is chargeable on the transaction value, and value is what I collect from the members. Correct? So this is what I'm collecting from my members. On this, I will charge the GST. I'm collecting 8,000 from the members. On 8,000, I will charge GST. Fine.
सर फर्स्ट नोट का क्या मतलब है सर? द एग्जम्पशन लिमिट ऑफ 7,500 इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल सिंस द कलेक्शंस आर मोर देन
तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हमको पता है कि एग्जेम्पशन है कि जब आप रेसिडेंशियल वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन से कुछ कलेक्ट करते हो तब अप टू 7,500 रुपीज का एग्जेम्पशन है, राइट? लेकिन यहाँ पे हम उसका अप्लीकेशन कहीं पे भी नहीं डाल रहे बिकॉज इट इज मोर देन 7,500. But the examiner need to know that you are aware of this thing, that there is an exemption of 7,500 and I am aware of it. So indirectly, how do you tell your examiner that I am aware of it? By putting this note, saying that exemption of 7,500 है, लेकिन मैं उसे claim नहीं कर रहा हूँ because the collection is more than 7,500 rupees. Yes, it is necessary to write notes because when you write notes, you give your knowledge, you give that you are aware of few factors because when we put numbers, we will not put the notification number, we will not put the serial number of the exemption and things. That's why putting up notes gives clarity to the examiner that yes, even though the answer or calculation may be wrong, but the student is aware of the basic aspects. That's why putting notes is very important.
सर हम क्यों नहीं ले रहे वो आप मुझे बता सकते हैं सर? क्योंकि एग्जम्पशन लिमिट हमारे पास है 7,500, तो फिर हम क्यों नहीं ले रहे हैं उसको?
See, that exemption says the exemption is only up to 7,500 rupees. तो आपका कलेक्शन अगर 7,500 तक है, then it is exempted. If it crosses 7,500, that exemption will not apply because it is not like a slab.
Sir, she was confused regarding what are the collections means, whether maintenance charges received at the collections or something else. She is confused regarding that.
So this is maintenance itself. So maintenance charges of 8,000 rupees is collected. And when any collection is above 7,500, in our exemption, also we had discussed that if the value is more than 7,500, then the exemption will not apply. It is not like a threshold limit that you will reduce 7,500 and balance only you will tax. That is not what is there in the exemption, and that is also clarified through a circular. The circular also says if you have any collections above 7,500, even if you have 7,501 rupee, on the whole 7,501 rupee GST will be payable. You will not deduct the 7,500. It is not a threshold. It is just a limit. If you cross the limit, fully taxable. Below the limit, fully exempted.
Understood sir. Thank you sir.
In short, 7,499 तक exemption है, right? These question files, Dinesh, after we finish this, I will upload it. Now, let's go to question number 6. Question number 6 says that Mr. A is running a consulting firm and he also has a ready-made garment showroom which are registered in the same PAN. Turnover of the showroom is 102 lakhs and receipt of consultancy firm is 24 lakhs in the preceding financial year. Now, whether Mr. A is eligible for composition scheme, whether is there any difference if Mr. A wants to opt for composition scheme only for the showroom? Okay. Composition scheme not eligible. You are saying not eligible, you are saying eligible. The second question, everybody is saying the correct thing, saying that whether there is any difference if Mr. A wants to offer composition scheme only for showroom, there everybody is giving a correct answer that only for showroom business he cannot have a composition scheme, and for consulting firm he doesn't want a composition scheme. That is not possible. If he opts for composition scheme, all the businesses should be under composition, right? But first part, whether he is eligible for composition, few are saying yes and few are saying no. Mr. A is eligible. Pallavi, how is Mr. A eligible for composition? Less than 1.5 crores. Okay, that's the only criteria. Omal, why is she not? Why is Mr. A not eligible? Composition के लिए आप सिर्फ टर्नओवर देखोगे. Correct. He is not eligible because 5 lakh and 10% criteria is not met. That is, if you are a trader, now you are into a ready-made garment showroom, you will do trading there. And if you're doing trading, then you have to take registration as a composition only as a trader. You cannot do services there. If you have to do services, there is a limit called as limit for doing services, which is 5% of the turnover of the previous year or 5 lakh rupees, whichever is higher. 10% or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. In this case, he's not meeting the criteria. So first answer will be that in the first case, he is not eligible for composition. Since he is into trading and services also. However, there is a limit on services which can be provided by a composition dealer, which is 10% of the turnover or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. In the present case, since Mr. A is crossing this limit, he is not eligible to register for composition scheme. Second part, will there be any difference if Mr. A wants to offer composition only for showroom? No. The answer still remains same, that he cannot opt for composition scheme since one business cannot be under composition and another under regular scheme as per section 10 of the CGST Act 2017. Okay. Now, question number B, if instead of consulting agency, Mr. A is running a restaurant, whether he is eligible for composition? So then he cannot do trading business, then also no limit, 5 crores fully for services. I didn't get you, Hardik. Here he can do it. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, sir, if he is providing sir restaurant services, then sir, he is providing one service and one garment showroom business he has. Sir, then uh, the combined limit would exceed sir 1.5 crores.
How will that exceed 1.02 plus 0.24? It is 1.26.
Oh, sorry, sir, sorry. वो calculation में sir mistake हो गया. Sorry, sir. Yes, sir, he will be.
Yes. So restaurant is permitted under composition scheme. So he can opt for composition scheme. Again under section 10 of the CGST Act. Only restaurant is permitted, but other than restaurant, other services are not permitted. For other services, you will have that limit. Third question. If the turnover of garment showroom is 140 lakhs in the preceding financial year and there is no consulting firm, whether he is eligible for composition?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
सर एक्चुअली आपने पहले तो हमें बताया था कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम्स के लिए सर्विसेज है तो 20 lakhs बोले थे ना सर 20 lakhs और 40 lakhs का लिमिट था ना सर सर्विसेज और ट्रेडिंग का
No, no. Composition के लिए there is no limit of 20 and 40 lakhs. 20 and 40 lakhs is for registration.
ओके सर सो कॉम्पोजिशन के लिए 1.5 crores है सर
1.5 crores if you are into trading, manufacturing, and restaurant service provider, up to 1.5 crores. Okay. And if you are pure service provider, then the limit is 50 lakh rupees.
Okay, sorry sir, understood.
Correct. In third case, simple, it is allowed since it is less than eligible for composition since is aggregate. Use this word ताकि एग्जामिनर को पता चलेगा कि आप क्या कर रहे हो. बस टर्नओवर लिखा हुआ था, आप पूरा एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर लिखो. सिंस हिज एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर इज बिलो द थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट फॉर composition scheme under section 10 of rupees 150 lakhs. Okay, good. Everybody is with me. Next question, question number 7. Mr. A has obtained a registration of casual taxable person to make a display in exhibition. His turnover from the exhibition is 15 lakhs. Whether Mr. A is eligible for composition scheme. Everybody is aware of this answer. Mr. A is not eligible for composition as casual taxable person are specifically excluded from the composition scheme. Very good. Mr. A is registered in Rajasthan. Question number 8. Yes, Vipul, I am getting your answer. Yes, you're right. Mr. A is registered in Rajasthan who is selling goods from Rajasthan to Gujarat. Turnover of Mr. A is 73 lakhs in the preceding financial year. Whether Mr. A is eligible for composition scheme. First question, then we'll go to the second. Not allowed because he is supplier of interstate. You're right. Mr. A is not eligible for composition as he is making interstate outward supply. That is the first part. Second part, whether your answer will change if Mr. A is making purchase from Gujarat and selling the goods in Rajasthan. No, because it is inward supply. Inward supply, interstate is allowed. Only outward supply, there is a limitation. Mr. A is making purchase from Gujarat, then he is eligible for composition as there is a restriction on outward interstate supply, not on inward interstate supply. So he can opt it in the second part. Yes. Mr. A is a non-resident taxable person running a ready-made garment showroom in Rajasthan. Turnover of the preceding financial year is 70 lakhs. Whether he is eligible to opt for composition scheme. Correct. NRTP we had already discussed when we were discussing on CTP. Mr. A is not eligible for composition scheme as non-resident taxable persons are specifically excluded from the composition scheme. Perfect. Mr. A is a dealer who is selling goods which are leviable to GST, exempted goods, and non-taxable goods. Okay. Three types of things he's doing. His turnover in the preceding financial year is 110 lakhs, 20 lakhs, and 30 lakhs, which are leviable to GST, exempted goods, and non-taxable goods, respectively. Whether Mr. A is eligible for composition scheme. Yes, you are saying yes, you are saying no. Okay. Just don't tell yes or no. This is not a voting. You have to see the numbers, calculate, and then tell. Right. So the aggregate turnover includes all types of supplies made by all persons registered under single PAN. If a person is selling the goods which are not leviable to GST under GST, tax under not leviable tax under GST, then he is not eligible for opt for composition scheme. In this case, the aggregate turnover is how much? 110 plus 20 plus 30 makes it 160 lakhs, which is crossing 150 lakhs. So he is not eligible for the composition scheme. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Many people have given wrong answers. So you have to see the aggregate turnover. Since the aggregate turnover is crossing 1.5 crores, aggregate turnover is all turnover, right? Taxable, non-taxable, and exempt. 110 is what? It is taxable. 20 is what? Exempted. 30 is non-taxable. So total aggregate turnover I will see. And the exempted turnover definition includes non-taxable turnover also. Non-taxable goods also. That's why you will include 30 also under the exempted, and under exempted if it is included in the aggregate also. Right? Few people have said yes. Are you clear? Please ask your questions. इंक्लूड नहीं किया exempted को, exempted should be included. ठीक है. Question number 11. Mr. A is selling goods through e-commerce operator. Turnover of the preceding financial year is 71 lakh rupees. Whether Mr. A is eligible for composition. Correct. Previously, composition tax people were not eligible. Now, after modification, they are eligible. Earlier, they were not allowed, but now they are eligible. So, my answer also was of a previous one saying that it is not eligible. But after amendment, this is permissible and eligible. I think this we have this amendment which we had confirmed, right? That if you're making any sale through e-commerce operator within the state, then you are permitted that amendment. Now here we don't know which is interstate or intrastate, so you can mention your assumption saying that this e-commerce, what you're selling, this e-commerce person is within the state. So it's like a quick commerce, so it is available. If you feel that no, it is not written interstate. You're right. So you have to make your assumption. If it is interstate, then you're not eligible. Okay, question number 12. A person has two establishments, one in Uttarakhand and one in Rajasthan. The turnover in Rajasthan is 60 and turnover in Uttarakhand is 30. He wants to opt for composition scheme in Rajasthan, whether he can do so. First question. Then we'll go to the second one. Yes, he can because his aggregate turnover is below the limit. Is that the answer correct? No, because his aggregate turnover for previous year on his permanent account number were more than 75 lakhs. Therefore, he cannot offer composition scheme for the state of Uttarakhand. Okay. Since in Uttarakhand, the limit is 75 lakhs, and that 75 lakhs is not only in that state, that is the aggregate turnover. Since he's crossing the aggregate turnover in Uttarakhand, he's not eligible for composition in Uttarakhand. So he will not be eligible for composition scheme even in Rajasthan. Second question also, if he is ready to offer composition both state, then can he opt? Still no. So the answer for both will be no. First answer will definitely be no because he wants to opt only for in one state and not only in Rajasthan. So that is not possible. Second question says that he's ready to opt for both states. Can you give? Still you cannot give. Got it? Got the logic? This is a very important question on the composition scheme. Clear? So you have to see that if there is special category state for whom the composition limit is 75 lakhs, in that state the limit will be less. In another state also limit will be less, but aggregate turnover it is crossing. Then he cannot register in that state. If he cannot register in that state, all other state also he cannot register. Clear hai yahan tak? Composition scheme you have understood correctly, clearly, accurately. Let's proceed further. Question number 13. Perfect. Mr. Kumar is a registered supplier of Chennai, Komal, your place. He has received the following amounts in respect of activities undertaken by him during the month ended on 30th September. Amount charged for service provided to recognized sports body as a selector of national team, 50,000 rupees. Commission received. Amount charged as business correspondent, foreign diplomatic and funeral services. He received the services from unregistered goods transport agency for his business activities relating to these and paid freight of 45,000 rupees. His aggregate turnover of previous year was 9,90,000 rupees. All the transactions stated are intrastate transaction and also exclusive of GST. You are required to calculate the value of taxable supplies on which GST is to be paid by Mr. Kumar for the month of September 2020. Kindly calculate and tell me. Question number 13. फ्यूनरल सर्विस एग्जेम्प्टेड, हाँ फ्यूनरल सर्विसेज एग्जेम्प्ट होगा, बस फ्यूनरल सर्विसेज एग्जेम्पशन में स्पेसिफिकली आता है, शेड्यूल 3 में भी आता है, so it is outside the scope of supply. Well, so let's find out the answer for this. We are in question number 13, right? Six away, question number 13. Gross value of taxable supply of Mr. Kumar and computation of gross value of taxable supply, particulars and the amount. Supplies on which GST is payable under forward charge. Amounts charged to recognize porting body as a selector of a national team. Is it taxable or exempted? Here I need participation from everyone.
Sir, it is
Whether this is
exempted, sir.
exempted, okay.
Yes, sir.
It is
Sir?
taxable
Oh,
because
sorry, sir.
what is exempted is only,
Funeral services.
no, we're talking about sports. Funeral will come later on. Sports body, players, umpires,
Sir,
and
only
coach.
players and umpires will be RCM will be paid by the recipient. This service provider as a selector, he has to pay, sir.
No RCM and all things. It is exempted. If it is exempted, then RCM will not come. And who all are exempted? Players, umpire, and coach.
Selector has to pay, sir. Selector has to
Selector
pay.
will be taxable.
Sir, second one, insurance company will pay RCM. So this person he need not pay, sir.
Correct. So these are services of a RCM. Case of an insurance agent, it is under RCM.
Third point also same like that, sir. Bank will pay, sir. Third point also bank will pay, sir. He need not pay.
No. On this bank will not pay. He will only pay it because this is to a urban branch. If it is to a rural branch, then it is exempted. Business correspondent to a urban branch is taxable, not under reverse charge, under forward charge itself. Okay. Next is service to a foreign diplomatic mission.
It is payable, sir.
Payable.
Sir.
It is
Fifth one is
payable, no
exempted, sir.
exemption on this.
Fifth one is exempted, sir.
Fourth one, everybody clear? Okay. Fifth one, funeral
Yeah.
services exempt under notification, which we had discussed that yes, funeral services will be exempted. So these are the supplies on which GST is payable under forward charge. Now we'll go to, there is a GTA. On GTA, we will discuss whether reverse charge is payable or no. Can you please repeat first and fourth one? Yes. First one, selector of a national team, he has to pay GST. Exemption is only there for the player who's playing it, umpire who's doing the umpiring, and coach who is doing the coaching. Okay. So selector is not a coach. He is liable to GST. And on the fourth one, services to a foreign diplomatic mission, there is no specific exemptions as such. So that is also taxable. Funeral services, there is a specific exemption, so it is exempted. Now, on the reverse charge, he is taking some services from a goods transport agency. Is that liable to pay GST or no?
Sir, RCM will apply and sir, the recipient will pay.
Correct. So I am the recipient in this case. The question says he receives the services from an unregistered GTA and recipient will pay. I am the recipient, so I am liable to pay. So this is my value. The total value of taxable supply on which GST is payable is 1,38,000 rupees. Clear till here? Question number 14 and 15, I leave it to you. You will have to work it out now. I'll just take a break of 10 minutes and let's solve question number 14 first. 14 is very simpler than 15. Yes, you can please take screenshot. एक मिनट सर उनको हाँ सर उन्होंने स्क्रीनशॉट ले लिया है आप ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं 14, general industries. And yes, I've got few answers for it. Now let us cross check if the answers are correct. 9,60,000 is what few people are saying. Oh my God. Majority answer is 9,60,000 rupees. Okay, we'll quickly go through this because you have already gone through the question. We'll not repeat the question. Let's go to the answer directly. Price of the machinery is how much? Price of the machinery is 9 lakh rupees. Okay. Now from this, add transit insurance. Okay. Why will you add? Because these are the additional charges. Transit insurance 16,500, packing charges of 13,500, extra design charges of 30,000 rupees, freight of 18,000 rupees. So total value is 9,78,000. Okay. And then you have 2% cash discount. Now this cash discount is on what? It is on the list price. List price is 9 lakh rupees. On that 2% is 18,000. So the value of taxable supply is 9,60,000. Good. Many have given the correct answer. 9 lakh is the correct thing. GST calculate करने के बोला ही नहीं है हमको. Calculate the value of supply. So we just need to calculate the value of supply. Don't do extra calculation. They have given the GST rate. लेकिन क्वेश्चन में क्या पूछा है? क्वेश्चन में से पूछा है कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई. सो लेट्स लिमिट आवर आंसर टू दैट. करेक्ट. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 15. क्वेश्चन नंबर 14 का आंसर कितना है? 9,60,000. किरण मिश्रा, 9,60,000 रुपीज. आपने देखा है ना आंसर को? अगेन शो इट टू योर 9,60,000 रुपीज. क्वेश्चन नंबर 15. Yes, yes, Hardik. Whatever is a blanket subsidy will not be included. Fine. If you write the provisions correctly and you make the calculations wrong, majority of the marks will go off because, of course, numbers are important. Numbers also carry the mark and the provisions also. So I would say some marks will definitely go if your numbers are wrong. Just provisions will not give you a complete marks for the answer. What is to be calculated in question number 15? Yeah, they're not given. So calculate the value of supply and the tax payable. $21,44,712. Okay. 21,32,000. Okay. Let's find this out. $21,32,000. Okay. Two people with 21,32,000 and two people with 21,44,712. Okay. Computation of GST liability of single brothers. Value of chemical is how much? Value of the chemical is 30 tons at 50,000 rupees per ton is 15 lakh rupees. Add freight of 1,80,000 rupees. Okay. Packing charges is 1,10,000 rupees. Weighment charges 20,000 rupees. Cost of instrument specifically purchased. ठीक है, इसको क्लियरली ऐड कर दिया, कुछ कॉम्प्लिकेशन नहीं है यहाँ तक. फिर यहाँ के नीचे कॉम्प्लिकेशन शुरू होगा. भास्कर दास 21,32,000. ठीक है, देखते हैं. इंस्पेक्शन चार्जेस 12,000 रुपीज, बिकॉज ये इंस्पेक्शन इसके लिए किया गया है, सो दैट ऑल्सो हैज टू गेट एडेड. ठीक है. देन सब्सिडी. सब्सिडी को आप रिड्यूस करोगे या नहीं करोगे, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. They have received a subsidy. Subsidy which is linked to the price of the product given by the government will have to be reduced. But in this case, नहीं बेटा, इसको reduce नहीं करेंगे because it's a blanket subsidy. Blanket subsidy को आपको reduction कुछ नहीं करना है. So your transaction value is 21,32,000 rupees. ठीक है. Now 21,32,000 is the correct value. और फिर इंटरेस्ट, क्योंकि लेट पेमेंट हुआ है, सो 15,000 के ऊपर 1,818 डिवाइड बाय 100, क्योंकि जब आप किसी से इंटरेस्ट कलेक्ट करते हो और उसके ऊपर आप जीएसटी चार्ज नहीं कर सकते हो बिकॉज उसने इंटरेस्ट दे दिया, ये बड़ी बात है. करेक्ट. So on interest, when you give interest for loan or deposit, that is exempted, but interest related to a supply, you will not do any deduction. So on interest, you have to do gross up. So 15,000 into 118 divided by 100 will be the value of the interest. So this is the value of interest on which GST will be payable. So the value of supply is 21,44,702. Who have completed and said 2132, you will not get complete marks because interest also is very critical, right? So interest is calculated by grossing up whatever is the interest being charged. You have to gross it up and then you will get the value of supply. Date of the transaction, September. On September value, you will pay 3,83,000 and you are required to calculate the GST liability in this case and due date of deposit both. दोनों के लिए date of deposit यही नहीं रहेगा. Date of transaction September, tax is 3,83,000 rupees and for November it is 2,278. And the due date for September is 20th October and for November it is 20th December. If there is no interest, लेकिन क्वेश्चन में तो इंटरेस्ट दिया है ना बेटा, तो फिर उसे भी कंसिडर करेंगे. अगर इंटरेस्ट नहीं दिया है तो फिर 21,32,000 itself will be the value. Clear? So if you're working along, then you will remember it. And if you're making mistakes, it's a good thing because here you can make mistake and learn from it. Now crystal clear. Very good. Sole consideration case, what to do? Tambeshwari, समझ में नहीं आया. Can you please unmute?
Sir, the sole consideration they are given the note, sir. So when there is it written that not related, but there is a related when they are considered or no.
नहीं समझ में नहीं आया.
सर नोट दिया हुआ है ना सर, क्वेश्चन नंबर 15 में नीचे देखो. यस सर. सिंगर ब्रदर एंड पी आर नॉट रिलेटेड एंड द प्राइस ऑफ सोल कंसिडरेशन ऑफ द सप्लाई. तो सर वही पूछना था सर, इसके अंदर क्या
करेक्ट.
करना.
जब दोनों अनरिलेटेड है, तब जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू है वो ही वैल्यू जीएसटी के लिए वैल्यूएशन माना जाएगा व्हेन दे आर अनरिलेटेड. लेकिन अगर दोनों रिलेटेड रहेंगे तो फिर आपको वैल्यूएशन रूल्स में जाना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. इफ दे से सिंगल ब्रदर्स एंड पी लिमिटेड आर एसोसिएटेड आर रिलेटेड टू ईच अदर, तो फिर आपको वैल्यूएशन रूल्स में जाना पड़ेगा जो आपके फाइनल में रहेगा. आपको ये इंटर लेवल पे रिलेटेड पार्टी का ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं दिया जाएगा. अगर
मतलब
पूछते हैं क्वेश्चन में कि रिलेटेड है, तो देन यू शुड राइट, देन you have to go to the valuation rules and transaction value will not be considered as the correct value.
सो सर मतलब कि सर हर क्वेश्चन के अंदर यही नोट दिया रहेगा ना, क्योंकि हमारे कोर्स में नहीं है.
Correct. In case they give, तो फिर आपको सिर्फ वो लिखना है कि this transaction value will not be relevant because they are related parties and valuation rules will apply.
ओके सर. और सर ये सितंबर और नवंबर का सर ड्यू डेट का आपने कैसे कैलकुलेट किया सर.
अपने जीएसटी रिटर्न्स में हमने डिस्कस किया ना, जीएसटी रिटर्न्स मंथली रिटर्न्स जो होता है, जीएसटीआर 3B, वो जो डेट है उसी डेट पे हम पे करेंगे.
यस सर.
जो सप्लाई किया है इसने कब किया है? इसने सितंबर को सप्लाई किया है. इसमें लिखा हुआ है ना, सितंबर ऑफ 2000 समथिंग.
यस
सो
सर.
20XX. सो डेट ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन सेल हुआ है सितंबर में, तो सितंबर का ड्यू डेट 20 अक्टूबर है. और इंटरेस्ट कब मिल रहा है मुझे? इन नवंबर. तो इंटरेस्ट का
यस.
पेमेंट का जीएसटी ऑन एक्चुअल रिसिप्ट बेसिस पे होता है. जब मुझे रिसिप्ट हुआ है नवंबर में, तब उसका टैक्सेबल ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, और नवंबर का ड्यू डेट है 20 दिसंबर.
तो सर डेट डेट पर सर कैलकुलेट करेंगे ना सर, डेज के अकॉर्डिंग.
नहीं, डेज के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं कैलकुलेट करेंगे. जो भी ट्रांजैक्शंस फॉर द मंथ ऑफ सितंबर है उसका ड्यू डेट 20 अक्टूबर ही रहेगा, और नवंबर में जो इंटरेस्ट रिसीव हुआ है उसका ड्यू डेट 20 दिसंबर ही रहेगा. इसमें इंटरेस्ट को हम फिर से कैलकुलेट नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि उन्होंने बता दिया कि 15,000 इंटरेस्ट वो ले रहा है.
ओके सर. सर मेरे को प्रीवियस क्लास देखनी पड़ेगी सर.
यस प्लीज.
यस सर. देयर फॉर मिस्टेक. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
यस, गुड आफ्टरनून.
सर 118 कैसे लिया वो नहीं समझ में आई.
मैडम, जब भी मेरा सप्लायर को मैं सप्लाई करता हूं, तब मैं बोलता हूं तुम्हारे ये मशीन का वैल्यू 21,32,000 होगा, और उसके ऊपर मैं तुमको जीएसटी चार्ज करूंगा. ठीक है, वो मान लेगा और वो गुड्स ले लेगा. ठीक है. लेकिन जब वो पेमेंट डिले करता है, तब मैं बोलता हूं कि मैं तुम्हारे ऊपर इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करूंगा. ठीक है. तो जब मैं
यस.
इंटरेस्ट, लेट फाइलिंग फीस जब चार्ज करता हूं, तब मैं टोटल अमाउंट बोल देता हूँ उसको। जनरली इंटरेस्ट के केस में वैसे ही होता है, और आप नोट भी लिख सकते हो कि दैट इंटरेस्ट इज कंसिडर्ड एज इंक्लूसिव ऑफ टैक्सेस। अगर आपको एक्सक्लूसिव ऑफ टैक्स करना है कि इंटरेस्ट के ऊपर आप जीएसटी चार्ज करोगे, तब भी आप नोट लिख सकते हो।
यस।
ठीक है, लेकिन इसमें लिखा है पी डिलेड द पेमेंट एंड मेड पेमेंट, तो उसने पेमेंट कर दिया है 15,000 का, मुझे चार्ज करने की कुछ गुंजाइश ही नहीं है क्योंकि उसने 15,000 पे कर दिया है। तो द बेनिफिट ऑफ कम टैक्स मतलब ट्रांजैक्शन के अंदर टैक्स इंक्लूड करने का बेनिफिट मुझे है, ऐसा जीएसटी लॉ बताता है। तो इस वजह से, क्योंकि उसने ऑलरेडी 15,000 पे कर चुका है इंटरेस्ट फॉर डिले ऑफ पेमेंट, तो इसीलिए 15,000 विल बी इंक्लूसिव ऑफ 18% जीएसटी। उसको मैं क्या करूंगा, 15,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 118 इंटू 100।
यस सर, क्लियर हो गया सर, थैंक यू।
2228 कैसे कैलकुलेट किया माई? सिंपल 12,712 इंटू 18% बेटा। रेट ऑफ जीएसटी इज 18%, तो जो मेन गुड है उसका ही सेम रेट विल अप्लाई फॉर दिस ऑल्सो। अगर मशीनरी 5% है, तो फिर इंटरेस्ट इज रिलेटेड टू दैट मशीनरी, दैट ऑन इंटरेस्ट ऑल्सो इट बी 5% इटसेल्फ, बिकॉज इट्स अ कॉम्पोजिट सप्लाई। हमने कॉम्पोजिट सप्लाई में डिस्कस किया था ये, दैट इन केस ऑफ अ कॉम्पोजिट सप्लाई, whatever is the rate for the main product, that will be the rate for the ancillary product or ancillary service also.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Vaikunta, your voice is not clear. You have to increase your volume or talk a little louder.
Hello, sir. This 12712, sir. How it is arrived, sir? 18% you are taken, 15,000 value on daily basis and monthly for 1 month is taken. This 1,000 to interest, 15,000 divided by 118 multiplied by 100.
Yes, sir.
This
So
figure is
15,000 is the interest which is being paid already. Okay, so interest is already paid 15,000 rupees. On 15,000, I cannot charge GST again. So that's why on 15,000, you have to take a benefit of cum tax, which means 15,000 is inclusive of GST. So you have to do 15,000 into 100 divided by 180. So total 12,712 plus 2288 makes it as 15,000 rupees.
but sir, interest is what basis this figure as a
This is they've given, sir, in the question. He delayed the payment of consideration and made payment in November. Thus paid rupees 15,000 as interest.
till November.
We do not have to calculate. They have themselves calculated, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Fine. P directly paid inspection charges to testing agency. Correct. But he's paid on behalf of whom? Whose responsibility it is to do the inspection? It was the single brother's responsibility to do the inspection. So any amount paid on behalf of the supplier by the customer has to be paid. That is what is given, rightly pointed out by Hardik. Section 15, subsection 2, point number D says that when any liability of the supplier is paid by the recipient, then that also has to be become part of the value of supply. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Question number 16. Rosary Private Limited is a registered supplier. He is engaged in supplying 16, yes, of
Sir, can
leviable.
you please zoom the screen, sir?
Yes, yes. Rosary Private Limited is engaged in supplying of taxable service leviable to tax at 18%. Compute the value of taxable supply and the GST payable by it for the month in the month of July 18 for the information furnished below. Advances received from clients for which no service has been rendered so far, 8 lakh rupees. Demurrage charges recovered for use of the services beyond the agreed period, 89,000 rupees. security deposit forfeited for damages done by service receiver owing to his negligence in the course of receiving a service, 5 lakh rupees. Besides the above receipts, one of the clients made payment of 1,45,000, out of which 25,000 were paid extra by mistake. However, Rosary Private Limited refused to return the excess payment received. What is demurrage? Demurrage is that I have kept your goods ready. Now you have to take the goods, but you have not taken it. And you have just kept it at my end. So I will charge you demurrage charges. Yeah. Are you working out on this? Refuse मतलब advance नहीं. Refuse मतलब वो नहीं दे रहा है. He's not returning it back. So SBS ने पेमेंट कर दिया 25,000 एक्स्ट्रा पे कर दिया है, लेकिन उसे रिटर्न करने के लिए रोजरी मना कर रहा है. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रेफ्यूज. Okay, any more answers? Okay. Okay, so let's start solving this question number 16, computation of value of taxable supply of GST payable by Rosemary. Okay. एडवांस रिसीव्ड 8 लाख रुपीस, ठीक है, सर्विसेज है तो एडवांस के ऊपर भी जीएसटी पेबल आएगा. डेमरेज चार्जेस 89,000 rupees. Okay, on that also GST is payable. Security deposit forfeited 5 lakh rupees. क्योंकि deposits are not taxable, but when you forfeit the security deposit, then it is. Then payment from SBS 1,45,000 rupees. So 1,45,000 will be the value because 25,000 was paid by extra, but still GST on services on receipt basis, receipt or invoice, whichever is earlier, since you have already received it and you're not returning it, so GST is payable on that. So 1,45,000 rupees. So the value of supply is 15,34,000 rupees. Now it is grossing up because all these things, if you see, you cannot charge GST again on this. Advance you have already received. Demurrage charges recovered. So this is recovered. It is not like charged. It is recovered. So इससे ज़्यादा आप नहीं charge कर सकते हो. And security deposit already have, you are forfeited. And payment is already received of that 1,45,000 rupees. So value of service is 13 lakh rupees. In all the cases, it is gross up. That's why I am bringing up variety of questions so that when to gross up, when not to gross up, you can understand. In this question, all items are to be grossed up. So whenever advance is received, whenever security deposit is forfeited, and when any demurrage charges is received, so whenever they use that, it is recovered, advance received, okay, deposit is forfeited. In those cases, you have to consider the total receipt only, which means it is inclusive of GST. अलग से आप charge नहीं कर पाओगे. So value of taxable supply is gross up and 13 lakh rupees. So GST payable is 2,34,000 rupees.
सर एक बार फिर से रिपीट करिए ना, वैल्यू ऑफ टैक्सेबल सप्लाई की.
करेक्ट. तो हमें टोटल रिसिप्ट्स आ गया है, ठीक है. हमको क्या करना है, टोटल रिसिप्ट्स में से वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई करना है. तो वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई इन सब के केसेस में ग्रॉस अप होगा, बिकॉज जब आप एडवांस रिसीव करते हो, यू हैव रिसीव्ड एडवांस, आप उसके ऊपर जीएसटी चार्ज नहीं कर सकते. यू हैव ऑलरेडी रिसीव्ड एडवांस फर्स्ट केस में. सेकेंड केस में क्वेश्चन में दिया कि डेमरेज चार्जेस रिकवर कर रहे हो, तो जब आप रिकवर कर रहे हो उसके ऊपर आप जीएसटी चार्ज नहीं कर सकते हो. और सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट आपके पास ऑलरेडी था, उसको आप फोर्टफीट कर रहे हो, मतलब सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट से लेके आप रिसिप्ट्स में डाल रहे हो, तो फिर उसके एक्स्ट्रा और कुछ कलेक्ट नहीं कर सकते हो. और फोर्थ पॉइंट है पेमेंट फ्रॉम एसबीएम. दे हैव मेड अ पेमेंट ऑलरेडी, वो पे कर चुके हैं, तो उसके ज्यादा आप ज्यादा कलेक्ट नहीं कर सकते और ज्यादा पे नहीं करें. So in all these four situations, it is all inclusive of taxes. तो इसको आप ग्रॉस अप करोगे तो 15,34,000 जो है 118 के बरोबर है. तो जब भी ग्रॉस अप करना है तो वैल्यू लेके डिवाइडेड बाय 118 इंटू 100 करेंगे तो वैल्यू ऑफ द सप्लाई आ जाएगा. तो वही हमने यहाँ पे किया है.
Sir, in some cases, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, when some outward supply is made, whether collection of tax from the customer is whether to collect or not, it is at the discretion of the supplier. So in that case, he has to pay the tax in addition to that supply value. So when that rule apply here, sir?
No, here it will not apply, sir, because it is not outward supply. It is all, not even one case where he has provided supply of goods or supply of services. These are all strange cases where other than supply, he has received money. And GST on services is on receipt of advance or supply. In this case, supply is not made, but advance is all received. That's why it is all on a basis that it has to be gross up.
You have told this question is okay, sir. I am asking for that example. For my, I asked some case. For that, I want example.
Just related to this question, few people have questions. We'll answer, then I'll come back to you.
Sir,
Yes.
the security deposits are forfeited. Can we assume it as a liquidation damages that they are like for non-tolerating purposes, for tolerating purposes, and they were compensatory in nature?
So if it is liquidated damages, then you're right. But in this case, this is not a liquidated damages. Is negligence in the course of receiving the service. So this is not a liquidated damages. Liquidated damages is when you enter into something and that other person has not performed, right? Then it becomes a liquidated damages and it will not be liable to GST because that circular also says. In this case, since they have not said liquidated damages, I will not consider liquidated damages here.
Okay, sir. So, sir, security deposits, if anytime if it is a forfeited, then it will be supplied as a composite one.
Yes, yes.
And sir, one more thing, sir. Sir, usually this gross up rule is applied when usually we have received the payment. And
Correct.
after that, there is no scope of getting any further payments from the client.
Correct.
So, sir, grossing up will be done.
Yes. In those cases.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
माही जब यहाँ पे लिखा है कि ड्यू टू नेग्लिजेंस, मतलब उसके नेग्लिजेंस की वजह से हमको आया है, तो इसीलिए सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट को हम फोरफिट कर रहे हैं.
सर अगर हमने पहले से जीएसटी पे नहीं किया है किसी एडवांस पर, तो फिर सर ये कॉम्प्लिकेट हो जाएगा ना सर? मतलब कि सर किसी पर किया है किसी पर नहीं किया है जीएसटी पेमेंट.
ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, जब आप रिसीव करते हो तब आप जीएसटी पे करोगे.
नहीं सर, मतलब अदरवाइज किसी क्वेश्चन में ऐसा दिया हो तो सर, तो हमें अलग अलग डिफरेंट डिफरेंट करके हमें करना पड़ेगा ना सर?
नहीं, वैसा नहीं करना पड़ेगा. तो अगर आपने पहले एडवांस रिसीव हुआ है पिछले महीने में, ठीक है,
यस सर.
और उसके अगर आपने जीएसटी पे नहीं किया है, तो उसका ड्यू डेट लास्ट मंथ ही रहेगा. उसको आपको इस महीने में ऐड नहीं कर सकते हो,
ओके सर.
क्योंकि उस मंथ का ट्रांजैक्शन उस मंथ में क्लोज हो जाएगा. अगर वो नहीं पे करते हो तो उस मंथ का ही कंसिडर करके आपको अलग अलग कैलकुलेशन करना पड़ेगा कि पिछले मंथ का इतना है. फिर अगर आप वो पेमेंट आज कर रहे हो तो उस टैक्स अमाउंट और उसके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट, फिर इस महीना का कैलकुलेशन और इस महीने का टैक्स, तो हर एक महीने का आपको अलग अलग करना पड़ेगा.
ओके सर. थैंक यू सर.
Yes, Kiran, as I had explained, all are inclusive of taxes in our case, in this
Yes,
scenario.
yes.
Yes,
My-
Sai Kiran. Yes, your
My,
question.
my doubt is sometimes when a supplier is collecting value of supply from the customer and without tax also he can collect. There is no rule that he has to collect from the customer and there is no rule. So he can pay from his own packet. It is there in the tax law itself. So that provision where it will apply, I am asking.
So there is another provision. It is saying that when you raise any invoice, it is assumed that you have passed on the burden to the customer. Generally, in other laws, what you're saying is there. Between GST law, there is specific section. I will check that and I'll just tell you. It says that it is assumed that the tax burden has been passed on to the customer. So on that basis, when you are charging GST in your invoice, it will be assumed that you are collecting from the customer.
So there is no second option, sir, in that?
If the customer has not paid, then you will pay. So in the facts of the scenario or in the facts of the question, it may come to you that the customer is not paid. Okay. And in practical scenario, you'll have to see whether if you have charged and the customer has not paid, then you will have to pay it. Otherwise, it will always be that the customer only will pay the GST what is charged in your invoice.
But in that situation, gross up will not come, no, sir?
Correct. In that situation, gross up will not come
Yes,
unless
that is
there
my
is
query,
some
sir.
value. Yes, unless there is a value and you have not included the tax in that, then only gross up will come. Like advance when you receive. Okay, there's an amount which is there in your bank. In that case, gross up will happen.
So this advance he has not yet raised invoice. Because of that, he is grossing up.
We don't know. They have only mentioned advance is received. So since advance is received, we will gross up. Had they given instructions that he has raised the invoice for 8 lakh plus GST, then we would not have grossed up.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, in case of liquidation damages, the question will specifically mention for that.
Yes, correct. Liquidation damages they specifically mentioned.
They will not say like deposits and all, or any other fees that is being forfeited, or they will say like compensatory fee.
They will tell liquidated damages, and if it is not liquidated damages, then they will tell with adjusted from the deposit or compensatory charges agreed between the parties. Such terms will be used.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Question number 17 is on valuation again. Sri Krishna Private Limited is a registered dealer, furnishes the following information relating to goods sold to it by Sri Balram in the course of intrastate transaction: price, municipal taxes, inspection charges, subsidies, late fees, and payment charges. What is the value of supply? Okay. So calculations थोड़े लोगों को आ गए. 1,69,000 is what majority is the answer. 50 lakh 12,000. अरे बाप रे, एक एक्स्ट्रा जीरो ऐड हो गया क्या? Very simple. I'll straight away go to the answer. Price of the goods 1 lakh rupees. Municipal taxes add करेंगे. Inspection charges, subsidy received from Shri Ram Trust because it is not a government, तो उसको भी add करेंगे. Late fees add नहीं करेंगे because These charges are waived off. तो waived off है तो फिर उसको ऐड नहीं करेंगे, वेवमेंट चार्जेस ऐड करेंगे. वैल्यू ऑफ टैक्सेबल सप्लाई इज 1,69,000 रुपीज. माही 50 lakhs कैसे मिला आपको? Okay, never mind. Next question number 18 is a little on the calculation front. Mera Sons is a registered supplier. Is a wholesale supplier of ready-made garments located in Bandra. On 5th September, owner of Aura Boutique located in Dadar approached Mera Sons for supply of consignment of customized dresses for ladies and kids. Subhadra handed over the check for payment on the same day. The said payment is entered on 20th and amount is credited on 21st. Mera Sons gets the consignment ready and informs Subhadra of the same on 2nd of December. The invoice is issued on 3rd December. Due to some reason, she could not collect it immediately, so she collects on 18th December. You are required to determine the time of supply of the ready-made goods, elaborating the relevant provisions under the GST law. Okay, various dates, but yeah, at least most of you are clear that this is a transaction of goods. The time of supply is very close to removal or issue of invoice, right? So let us see the answer for this. Time of supply for goods is earliest of the two, that is date of issue of invoice the last day on which invoice is to be issued or date of receipt. Lekin, however, you have to mention that in case of goods, date of receipt is not relevant as per notification number 66. So it will be the invoice last day on which invoice is required to be issued, and when invoice is required to be issued will be the date of issue will be the due time of supply will be the date of issue of invoice by the supplier or the due date. So date of invoice is 3rd of December, which is the invoice. So before clearance, you should raise an invoice. Now, when have you cleared it? You have cleared it from your place on 18th, but you have raised the invoice on 3rd. So time of supply will be 3rd of December itself. So the time of supply will be 3rd December, not 2nd. Goods are ready, right? But it's not dispatch. Just being ready doesn't mean either dispatch or issue of invoice is the date for time of supply of goods. Goods dispatch 18th, करेक्ट कविता. लेकिन आपने इनवॉइस पहले ही रेज कर दिया है तो उसको क्या फाड़ दोगे? नहीं ना. That's why time of supply says that if you have raised the invoice, that will be the time of supply. Vismita, what is your answer? The question is, Himachal Pradesh mein a person is engaged in intra-state supply of pan masala and his annual turnover is 24 lakhs. So will the registration trigger or no? Mandate registration. So Tanu is saying, Vishmita, that it comes under mandatory registration. Please have a check by the time we finish this next question. Question number 19. Kabira Industries is engaged in the service of transportation for road transport of consignment. Kabira Industries have engaged the services of a transporter for road transport of a consignment on 7th June and made advance payment for the transport on the same day. However, the consignment could not be sent on account of strike and instead was sent on 20th July. And invoice was received from the transporter on 22nd July. What is the time of supply of transporter service? Not just services you have to see. You have to see the time of supply of services which are under reverse charge. Okay, because on a GTA you have to pay. So on a reverse charge, what is the time of supply? Please consider that. various dates, 7th June, 21st July, 20th July. A lot of dates are flowing up. Let us resolve the anomaly. As per section 13.3, time of supply of service taxable under reverse charge is the earliest of the following dates. First is date after 60 days from the date of invoice, okay, which is what? 60 days from the date of invoice. When is the invoice raised? Or the date of actual payment. Invoice was received from the transporter on 22nd July. Okay, so 60 days from that is 20th September, or the date of payment, whichever is earlier. In this case, the date of payment precedes the. This calculation is important. Anyways, the answer will be 7th June. But the calculation of 20th September is also important because 60 days from 22nd July, if you calculate, it will not be 22nd September because July and August has 31 days. So it will be 20th September.
सर एक बार रिपीट कीजिए ना फिर से
Alright. So टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ रिवर्स चार्ट, आप टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई जब चार्ट देखेंगे तब आपको क्लैरिटी मिलेगा. उसमें हमने एक चार्ट बनाया था कि टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज विल बी व्हेन two criterias: the date of payment or 60 days from the date of invoice of the supplier, whichever is earlier. So date of 60 days from the date of supplier मतलब 60 days from the date of invoice, that is invoice date कब है? 22nd जुलाई. 22nd जुलाई से 60 डेज आप जब कैलकुलेट करते हो कैसे मिलता है? जुलाई में कितने दिन है? 31 डेज. 31 में 22 चला जाएगा तो 9 डेज. ये वहां पे यह कैलकुलेशन मैंने किया है. 9th जुलाई, फिर अगस्त में 31 डेज. ठीक है, तो ये हो गए 40 डेज. 60 डेज मतलब 60 माइनस 40 करूंगा तो 20th. तो सितंबर 20th का डेट आता है. ठीक है, सो द 60th डे फॉल्स ऑन द 20th सितंबर. और डेट ऑफ पेमेंट, मैंने पेमेंट उसको कब किया है? एंड मेड एडवांस पेमेंट ऑन 7th जून. सो 7th जून आएगा. तो आपको 20th सितंबर या 7th जून, विच एवर इज अर्लियर, कंसिडर करना पड़ेगा, विच इज 7th जून. जो टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई इज 7th ऑफ जून.
सर 61st डे होगा ना?
61st डे, करेक्ट करेक्ट.
सर
डेट आफ्टर 60th डे.
यस सर, तो सर 21st सितंबर होगा.
21st, ओके. Question number 20, ITC we have already done. 21 we have done. 22. We'll go to question number 22. Shubhalakshmi Foods is engaged in supplying restaurant services in Maharashtra. In the preceding year, it has turnover of 140 lakhs from the restaurant services. You are required to advise Shubhalakshmi whether it is eligible for composition scheme in the current year. Assuming in the current financial year, its turnover is expected to be 130 lakhs and 10 lakhs from supply of farm labor in the said state. Further, it also expects to earn bank interest of 20 lakhs from the fixed deposits. So calculate the estimate tax payable by Shubhalakshmi Food in the current financial year. Correct. So in calculation of this, Hardik, you're right, deposits and his interest need not be considered. Bhumika Shubhalakshmi is not eligible. Why so? Because composition scheme is up to 1.5 crores. Okay. So in that 1.5 crores, what all is to be included and what not? Okay. If you are saying eligible, if you are saying not eligible, but you should give reasons, right? Fine. I hope you are aware of the reason. Marginal services permitted, right? So how much is the marginal services permitted? The marginal services permitted is up to 10% of the turnover in the preceding year or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Previous year turnover was 140 lakhs into 10% was 40 lakhs or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. So whichever is higher is 14 lakhs. He can do services up to 14 lakhs. Now interest earned on 50 will not be considered. So he is eligible for composition scheme in the current year, right? Now the turnover will be, since he is a restaurant service provider, 5%. Tax payable on the turnover is 130 lakhs plus 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs is exempted, but once you are under composition scheme, whatever is your turnover except interest on that, you have to pay GST. So 130 lakhs of your restaurant service and 10 lakhs from supply of farm labor, both दोनों को you have to add and pay the GST. So on 140 lakhs, you have to pay 2.5% CGST, 2.5% SGST.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, as per section, sir, 10 subsection 2, sir, it was specifically excluded from marginal services because whole 1.5 crore limit was for services. Then, sir, after providing services of 1.5 crore, then, sir, why marginal services limit are being taken?
So there is composition scheme for goods and composition scheme for services.
Yes, sir.
Both are under a different subsection under 10, 10.2 and 10.2A.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 10.2, if you are registered, you can still do limited services. If you
But,
are completely under services, then you have to register under 10.2A. Okay. So
okay, sir.
10.2 and 10.2A is separate. If you are under goods, you cannot go to 10.2A. You can register under 10.2 and you can do only limited services.
बट सर रेस्टोरेंट सर्विसेज के लिए तो सर ये पूरा 1.5 करोड़ एक सर्विस के लिए उनको दिया हुआ है टर्न तो सर
Correct. Because in 10.2, they specifically said trading, manufacture, and restaurant services.
तो सर
It is
वो
not
लोग
under 10.2.
ओके सर ठीक है ठीक ओके सर
And yes, Kavita Pulla, it will not be 3%. It will not be 6%. 3 plus 3, 6. That will not be there. It will still be rate of the composition, which is at 5% itself.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So, marginal supply of service we understand. Is there any scheme that marginal rate of goods for services also?
No, sir. For a service provider, there is no marginal supply of goods permitted. You have to purely provide services only. ठीक है. I think we can take up one more question. Hmm. We'll take up question number. We'll use question number 27. All other questions will get uploaded. So we'll go to the questions which are little trickier ones. Question number 23, amend will apply. Okay. Okay. Question number 27. It is on exemption. PQR properties registered under GST is engaged in the business of renting various immovable properties. During the month ended 31st March 21, it collected a rent of 5 lakh rupees. The said sum includes rent from vacant land, land from Appu Circus, houses let to individuals for residential purposes, building let to Mrs. Elegant Hotel, vacant land, given to ABC for construction of a building, premises led to a temple trust, premises led to a coaching center, building led to a hospital. Compute the GST payable by the firm, assuming the rent is exclusive of GST. Okay, clearly they have given. Here we don't have to do any assumptions. This is the rent and this is exclusive of GST. मतलब जो भी value आएगा उसके ऊपर आपको GST pay करना पड़ेगा. Now the part in this question is that it is rent and some rent is taxable, some rent is exempted. It collected totally rent of 5 lakh rupees. उसमें से major amount they have given. Now we have to see from 5 lakh which is exempted, which is taxable. Which is taxable, we will not do any adjustment. Which is exempted, we will remove. Okay, because we'll get to know the taxable rental value. Now we can't add one of these things. We'll have to go with the exclusion method. So firstly, Messrs. PQR properties. Mention the question number, the properties and things. Total rent is how much? 5 lakh rupees. Less, I will remove whatever is exempted. Rent from vacant land, it is exempt. क्योंकि exemption में आपने देखा है कि when you give a land for agriculture purposes, it is exempted. So I will remove it. Next, rent from land used for Appu Circus. Is it taxable? हाँ, Appu Circus है तो क्या हुआ? It will be taxable, so liable to GST. I will not reduce it. Property let for residential purposes. Residential purposes is what? It is exempted. Of course, when the recipient is registered and that limit will come, that will be under reverse charge. From a supplier's perspective, it is exempted. Building led to a hotel is liable. Vacant land given on lease to Messrs. ABC Limited for construction of a building at a later stage to be used for furtherance of business. It is giving of lease to ABC Limited for business, so liable to GST. Yes, it is taxable. Then premises led to religious body. Trust है भाई, trust को तो exemption मिलना चाहिए. Exempt, temple, correct. Any other answers? No. It is not exempt because temple providing services under 10AA, 10AA, 10AB, they are exempted, but I am providing services to a temple. For me, it is taxable.
Sir, 12AA, 12AB.
12AA, 12AB, right? Premises led to a coaching center.
Taxable.
Taxable. Building led to a hospital. Taxable. Right. So the taxable value of supply is 3,80,000 rupees. Kaise? From 5 lakh, I have removed whatever is exempted. That will give me the value of my taxable supply, and tax payable is 18%. Yes, point number 6, 7, 8. We feel that yes, at least 7 we know coaching center is taxable. Religious body, temple, and hospital, we think they are exempted. So our service to them also will be exempted. No, our service to them will be taxable. Now, in case of coaching center, had it been school, what will be your answer? Premises led to a school.
Sir, then it would be an exempt supply.
Why so?
Sir, because any services which are given to school and also any services which are given by the school are both exempted.
You need to relook. That is not the case. Only specific services provided to a educational institution are exempted, not all the services.
Higher secondary schools, till that it is exempted, sir.
Please recheck. Not every services.
Schools and higher
Specific services.
schools and up to higher education is, I think, accepted.
No, it will not be the thing. Only limited services are exempted. When it is transportation services, security services, housekeeping services, go to the exemption again. Look at the services which are provided by anybody to an educational institution. Only limited services are exempt.
Okay, sir.
So still it will be taxable. Okay, so what I'll do is other questions, I'll upload all the questions and answer. Have a look at it. I would expect that you will do the question by yourself, then refer to the answer, so that if there is any confusion, you can cross check it.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Vaikunth.
Sir, wherever the clarity is not there, we can give assumption and we can give the answer.
But your answer has to be correct. It cannot be that for your wrong answer you give assumption. No.
Okay.
Your answer has to be correct. If you don't know the facts correctly, then you can make assumption.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Could you please explain point number 3? Yes, point number 3 is property let for residential purposes. So when you pay rent, okay, rent for your house, it is exempted. Residential rent is exempted through an exemption notification. That's why it is exempt. Now, what I said was there is an amendment now that if a business is taking a residential and using it for his business, then the businessman will have to pay GST under reverse charge mechanism. But supplier, for him, it will still be exempted.
Sir, if businessman takes residential home, then he will pay RCM.
When a businessman,
So business takes residential home for their staff or colleagues or for any other purpose, then RCM is chargeable.
yes, RCM is payable.
Okay, sir.
Prasad sell by temple authority, is it taxable? No, it will be exempted because there is a exemption for the prasadam from the temple. Prasad is a goods, right? So prasadam for the good is exempted under the exemption for goods notification. टेम्पल ट्रस्ट लायबल, हाँ मैडम, टेम्पल ट्रस्ट तो एग्जेम्प्टेड है, लेकिन रेंटिंग ऑफ रूम्स और प्रीमाइसेस के लिए लिमिट है, ठीक है, उससे लिमिट से ज्यादा टैक्सेबल हो जाएगा, वो लिमिट तक एग्जेम्पशन रहेगा। 1999 रुपीज, 9999 है ना, वो डिस्कस किया है, दैट लिमिट विल अप्लाई। Okay, I hope I have done justice of all the classes. Due to paucity of time, still I will send you the questions and I will expect that you do the working out, because working out is very important. Yes, I could see that a lot of involvement was there in this class on working out. I hope and wish you all the best for your exams. Do well. Hopefully, we will meet again. We generally hold webinars and things nowadays. So we will try to connect there.
So revision classes are there. Revision classes are there.
Revision classes रहेगा sir.
Okay, sir.
Fine, sir. Thank you very much and do well for your exams. Any more doubts? Reach out, we will connect. Sure. And LinkedIn, yes. LinkedIn. Sure. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable time because more than me, it has been you who have been listening. That is more important. So your involvement, your time is more important. I hope I've justified that. Sure, sure. Hardik, don't do silly mistakes. I could see that you were confident, but the answers were getting wrong. So be careful so that your answers don't get wrong. That is more important. Because yes, this practice ground will be helpful, but ultimately at that ground, don't do such mistakes. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good study time. Enjoy your time. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.